Download the app now.
Hello, Law and Reality. Usually I'm here with Joe Volpe, or I'm alone, and you're not Joe, so you're Emmanuel. Emmanuel, thank you for being here today. Now, today's an important discussion, I think. In people know us, know you, me, and over the years, is that we're always lobbying and fighting for the community, especially you. And I'd suggest it's time. It's time to think that the world is changing, and our immigration world is changing, and our undocumented world is changing. We discussed this before, and I'd suggest that the time for protest, the time for fighting government never stops. It's like it's like a marriage.
There's always
it never ends. There's always something to fight about, like in immigration.
Absolutely.
But I'd suggest that it's time to recognize that the time for protesting on the street and arguing against the government, it's on hold.
Yeah.
And now, with all your work, I think now we have to say it's time to do two things. We mentioned this before, like the Bible says.
This show is brought to you by...
You have to knock on the door.
Absolutely.
And you have to ask.
Absolutely.
And I'd suggest that knocking on the door is lobbying.
Yeah.
Before, lobbying was going to court and protesting, whatever. But tell us about your work with Andrew Scheer, and I'd suggest that we're knocking on the door, you're knocking on the door with your team,
Absolutely.
and it's time to start thinking about winning.
Yeah.
And not just fighting. Tell us
For
about
certainly. It. Okay, so we got a few points here that you already mentioned, Richard. It's the fact the numbers, let's put it first, the lobbying and the reality.
Put the numbers up, guys.
The reality of the numbers of permanent residents given in Ontario, there is a big, huge discrepancy between those numbers, where when certain countries, you can read on a board, almost 30,000 permanent residents given 1 year, just in Ontario, right? And the list goes on, and Italy with 130, and Portugal 55. That is a big, huge discrepancy. The bureaucrats, they have to put on their minds that this discrepancy of numbers, this big, huge difference of numbers, has to stop.
Let's look at those numbers for a second. Put the numbers back up, please. You know, look, it's really, we look at the top of the list. You mentioned India at the top of the list, China at the top, Nigeria at the top, Pakistan. But look at the bottom. Look at Lusophonia. Look at it, man.
Lusophonia, está zero, Azores, Angola, Madeira, Mozambique. This is a disgrace.
Well, what's really interesting is that Mozambique, a large country with a lot of people, put the chart back up, please.
And they need some help now.
Well,
they need some help. But
they are on the one coast of Africa. They have zero, a big country, when then small islands off the coast of Africa, not too far, Mauritius, has 230. And the reason for that is that their people, a lot of Indians there, they are lobbying. And I think we agree, we're not opposed to anybody.
No, absolutely not.
And we are learning, and I think what we've learned now from our Indian, because I remember 30 years ago, the numbers were reversed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we helped our Indian brothers
and you brought those numbers, brought those numbers closer, right? But now the numbers are going the other way around, and there is no way, no recognition of government, no recognition of the bureaucrats to bring those numbers a little bit closer.
But it's time, and you're now lobbying the new government.
It's time.
The new government's coming in October, and you're working hard with these people.
Yeah, we're working hard. Our group, and we're working hard, and we have great advisors as well. And we're working, first of all, number one is to inform the next government, that the people that will form the next government. We kind of say lobbying, but sometimes it's not even lobbying, it's kind of tell them the truth. Educate them to the reality.
Are you hopeful that the new government
will
listen?
Absolutely. Andrew Scheer, we've several times you already mentioned, He said, Manuel, the law has to be obeyed, that's for sure. But the word compassion in certain aspects also has to be there. You cannot just, for instance, let's go to the family Dumitru, right? They know that the family Dumitru needs help. This government knows. And they reject either human compassion, they reject refugee status, they reject anything. These bureaucrats don't know, and they rely on Google to say that certain things in mafia are okay. They're not. Right? They're not okay, and they are still fighting in there. There are still criminality activity going on, and this couple that's been over here for 7 years, there is no compassion for them, and they want to deport them. So if they deport them, it's going to be a big problem for them. You want those kids? Then you have the USA that has no war, as far as I'm concerned. USA has no war, and they had 40,000 refugees coming across and welcome to Canada. Meanwhile, you have one over here. They're welcome to Canada. This family Dumitru is working. He's paying taxes. He's not sucking the Canadian government. He's not sucking the provincial government. He is working very hard towards the goal.
But now it's April. It's only a few short months to October. What do you feel?
Well,
the new government will...
Absolutely. I think the Andrew Scheer government is already listening. He is already listening, Rich. We already had a few meetings with a few people from his office that they're going to design a system where the word compassion can be implemented in there and can be used for. Okay? That's number one. Number two, the fact they understand the problems and the reality. That's where the word compassion has to be beside the law, right? Beside the law, one with the other. If people are over here, let's say, Richard, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, paying taxes, okay? No criminal activity, no criminal record, paying taxes, having a family, most of them born already here.
But let me ask you a hard question, Manuel. When you talk to the new government people and those people, are you worried or are they worried that many of our European folks here, undocumented workers, the Portuguese, Italians, and Poles in Toronto, do they want to stay in Canada? Let's be honest here now, okay? The government people, they worry, I think, that a lot of folks from Europe, as other countries, are only here to make money, and they do not make applications. Yeah. They apply for nothing. They sit under the table waiting for guys like you and the committee to fight, but they're not applying. So the question is, we know it's time to talk to government, not fight government.
Exactly.
But is it time to start filing applications to show you're serious?
Absolutely. You have to start file applications.
Why? Why should people file applications?
Yes, by the end of October, Richard, things are going to look totally different than what they are right now. The new government, they will assist. The new government wants to give a solution. And the new government, on top of this, before they ask in the House of Commons, before the summer, before they go for the closing, before they close the House of Commons, I am hoping that they will ask the question, why did the pilot project did not go ahead? And because they want to have an answer already. Because if the Liberals say, well, we have no solution for it. Do you have any solution? And then they can simply say, yes, we do. And here is the solution.
So what's your...
So if you have no criminal record, if you haven't filled up applications, if you don't deduct, start to deduct, start to pay taxes. And this is one of the things, and fill up application, obviously.
But I can tell you, most undocumented workers, construction, food, mechanics, they in the past have filed nothing. They don't pay taxes, they don't file anything, they don't show they're serious. So I ask you again, why is it now time to file?
It's time now. We're coming very close to some good solutions. And good solution for people that want to stay in Canada. Who are the people that want to stay in Canada? It's people that paying taxes. It's people that trying to write the exam, the IELTS, the English language system. We have a lot of people, Richard, that's gone in there 3, 4, 5 times to write the test, and it's $440 a pop.
But Manuel, but so many people in the past have not so many, a few people have filed applications and a few people have written the language exam, and they're frustrated. They don't believe the system. So I ask again, why is it time now to open the door, which you are doing,
Yeah, exactly.
and filing applications, which the workers have to do? Why? I ask you again, for the folks to understand,
Yeah.
why
I
is
think-
it time?
Yeah, I think it's important. We are at the right time. We are at the
Why
right
are
time.
we at the right time?
Because the new government that is coming in October, they're listening. They are aware already of these problems.
Why should people believe that?
Well, let's put it this way. We're working very hard for it. And we have to believe that the new government is listening. At least the meetings that I've been having with them.
Do you believe them?
I totally believe Andrew Scheer. I totally believe the team that Andrew Scheer has on his side. We also had a meeting with the Human Compassion, with the critique of human rights. Another MP who had a meeting about 3 months ago, he said, this is not very difficult, Manuel. This is a real problem in the communities. Portuguese, Italians, Lusophony. It's very important. Okay, we need to get to a certain point, a certain resolution that will be efficient. That will be the ideal.
Let me ask you a question. You know these people well. You've learned to well. Do you think when they look at those numbers, the Lusophonian numbers, that are a disaster? Angola 0, Azores 0, Azores.
Yeah, yeah.
Azores 0, Madeira 0, Mozambique 0. Do you think that the new government in October will want to have the balance of those numbers?
That's what I'm working for. That's what we are working for. That's why we have demonstrations. That's why we have meetings. And that's why we talk to them. And that's why we make them aware of the situation of the unbalance that it is right now.
Yeah.
And we don't care who we're going to offend. Our group has the word, puts the word on the front. We have the passion to help other ones, okay? You're an immigration lawyer. I am an electrician, electronics electrician. I gain nothing. But
will you give me a job?
Yeah, but you know what it is, Richard, is whenever we do something for somebody else with us waiting for something for my return,
Sure.
God never helps that way. But if you do it from the heart, if you help people, and without interest, without anything coming back to you, God is making a way, and I believe, Richard, that God is making a way through our conservative, through our Andrew Scheer, and throughout his team that's surrounded by Andrew Scheer, has a great people
But
that they have.
I'm worried that people are waiting for you to open the door, and
Richard,
they will not ask.
Well, there'll be a lot of people like that as well, right? There'll be people, for instance, when they come to the demonstration. I understand the people that are undocumented don't want to show up their faces. But if they really think at the bottom of their heart is, I should try, get a hat or get something, I should try to be there, to get a number, to be a number that needs a help.
Well, see, my concern is that the people don't ask. Some are scared.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Absolutely.
Some people look at the political thing and they just don't want to believe it. But I don't understand. But there's also a lot of people that want you to open the door and give them the visa, and they have to do nothing.
Well, Richard, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which way we should put it, but a lot of people, they will benefit people that have not done nothing. A lot of immigration people will benefit that have done nothing. Very few have been on a fighting. Very few. And they will benefit. But most of all, I think one of the important things is we know that the work that we are doing, a lot of people will benefit.
Sure.
Okay? And I think this is one of the things that drives me to be the chair
So
of
when we say
undocumented workers and be the chair of going forward.
Well, you've been at this for a long time, and you can not just understand the change, but you can smell it.
You can smell it, absolutely.
You can smell it. So,
I can feel it.
So we're down to the last few seconds, according to Mr. Clock here. So again, I ask you, is it time for change?
It is time for a change in the government.
Will the door open for undocumented workers?
Absolutely, the door. I'm almost 100% guaranteed the door will open for undocumented workers.
If Is it time to apply? Or should people stay in the cafes and bakeries
No,
and hide?
I think people should do their best, apply for it first, get on the going, get on the bandwagon so you can be helped.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still at 15 minutes.